Today's Dumb Ph.D podcast guest is a person who got selected in Indian Air Force for a flying officer role, a career she chose not to pursue. And 22 years later, she still leads with that identity with a lot of pride. And in between, spent 18 years in the learning and development space while also finishing her doctorate program and has been retraining the psychology of civil servants, IAS professionals, police officers accused of losing trust, and corporate employees in companies like Microsoft. And the striking feature about her, in top of all of these feathers to her cap, is her height, which is 6 feet. And no one, therefore, can miss her presence in the room. Welcome, Dr. Saumya Tripathi, to this episode of Dumb PhD Podcast. And we are going to learn from her what are the smart moves and dumb moves she made in her career so far that took her to where she is now. And the very first question that comes your way, Dr. Saumya, is what made you not to choose the flying officer path? Welcome once again, Saumya.
Hey Rima, thank you so much for having me over. And to answer your first question, what made me not to choose it? It wasn't a very deliberate choice. Somehow, my parents were not very convinced. If you've seen that Insta trend that is there these days, first in my bloodline to do this.
Yeah.
So I was the first in my bloodline to be qualified for the defense services. And my parents also happened to be from defense services, but they were very skeptical about letting me join this. Also, the second thing was that it's a limited career. You will be in services for 10 years, extendable up to next 5 years. So these were the two factors which kept me away. Of course, the first one was the more critical one. And so yes, I chose to go with what my parents told me to, and that's how I missed it.
Okay, that makes me curious. Now, 16 years later, you like to lead with that identity. What is about that? What is about the fact that saying that you got selected as a flying officer? What makes you feel that pride, Soumya?
So the first thing, I think that was the first competition that I cracked. So that it is very, very special to me that
And
way.
it's super tough, right? It's super duper
Yes,
tough. Yeah.
yes. And the fact like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam and Amitabh Bachchan could not clear it makes
Yeah.
me even prouder.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, and also always I heard that you need to have the OLQs, officer-like qualities,
Okay.
to clear this exam. So
Mm-hmm.
this is what they see in you. So the fact that I clear this exam also give that credit to me, like why I put it in my CV and all. It helps me establish my credibility at the first place. So that is what it has been about.
Okay. And coming back to the officer-like qualities, okay? Now, you didn't choose that path for yourself, but you chose the training path for yourself, right? You've
Mhm.
always been into training in your job
Mhm.
too. And
Mhm.
while you were working as a training head, you also enrolled yourself for a PhD, right? And why was there this need to do PhD back then? Like it was like almost 20 years from now that you have passed out as a PhD, right, Soumya? So why did you have that urge to do a PhD all of a sudden? That
So
too
the
while working
timeline,
on in the job, right? Because it's double harder when you're in the job and then pursuing your
yeah.
PhD.
So I would like to explain the timeline of how it happened.
Yeah.
So I finished my MBA, and the next thing was my parents were very, like I said, very particular about what kind of job I do and what kind of job I did not do. So they were again not comfortable sending me for a corporate job, the 9 to 5 tag. They come from the government setup, the Sarkari setup. So they were of the mindset that, if we have to take up something on those lines. So after I completed my MBA, the next thing, and also for a girl, it's like they were looking for to find the right match for marriage and all. So things were not very settled at that point of time. So they gave me this option that why don't you do PhD? No, Rima, I was never a never a scholar or never, having a bent for research and all. But it was a kind of a peace pact between me and my parents. So they feel that they have, settled me at one place. And for me, it was like buying time. As I enrolled in PhD, my father during that time was posted in Kanpur.
Okay.
And so that's how I got enrolled at Kanpur University, CSJM University. And I also happened to find uh, an assignment with IIT Kanpur.
Mm-hmm.
And the assignment was as a research associate in the aerospace department. And the work that I was supposed to do was training the rocket scientists on career management skills, the soft
Awesome. Yeah.
skills.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was before that I wasn't really aware of what training industry is all about. But yes, in my MBA days, organization behavior was my favorite subject. So it kind of aligned there. My professor, Dr. A.K. Ghosh, he gave me a book, Career Management for Rocket Scientists. He said, read this book and prepare a program on this. So he trusted me more than I did in those times. So I was very nervous that, what am I going to teach the MTech and the research scholars of IIT Kanpur and that to aerospace branch?
Right. Yeah.
But then I had a job to do and I tried to do my best. And thankfully, it was delivered very well. The problem area was that, the challenge there was that, people who are, a lot of students in the technical field struggle with soft skills. So this is the gap that the department wanted to, kind of bridge. So this was the beginning of my career. So I started my PhD and my first job as a research associate, first assignment as a research associate at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it happened, I was there for 6 months and then my dad got transferred. Then a lot of things happen in life. I moved to different cities. I got married. I got into corporates. I even had my children. And then PhD felt like an impossible thing to do. I almost thought of also giving it up
Right.
at some point. But then my family stood by me. They said that if you have come this far, why would you drop it? So I would give the credit to my father for pushing me to finish this. I like the credibility it gives me now, even in the field that I am in. I'm very grateful for that.
Actually, that was my next question that was coming your way. Like, how do you see that this is giving you a credibility? Like when you're going for your team performance coaching, right? You're a performance coach for high-performing teams, right?
Right.
How do they receive you? Because you are not just being introduced as Saumya Tripathi, but Dr. Saumya Tripathi, right? So
Right.
does that doctor make a difference? Saumya, what do you feel about that?
Rima, the answer is yes. And it took me a while to realize that.
Yeah. Can you,
So,
before you move out, like move forward with that answer, can you tell us like how did you even realize that, okay, this makes a difference? Yeah.
how I realized was that ever since I got into training, so I had many careers. I switched between careers. I worked into training field, then I moved to academics and then back to training. So when I came to training, I thought that, and also before I started my independent journey, I was working with Apollo hospitals.
Right.
So there, doctor gets like there's a
Mixed.
clash.
Yeah.
People think you are a
The physician
clinician.
who's going to treat
Yeah,
them. Yeah.
yeah, the consultant or the clinician. So I had to specify. So I dropped using doctor.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I thought that, maybe in training field, it doesn't, I don't need it.
Right.
So, but people who knew me and when I joined this fraternity, so people started telling me, you are a doctor, why don't you use it?
Hmm.
I said, I don't need it.
Hmm.
That's when people told me, in fact, Ganesh Dalvi. I
Right.
was a part of his. So in that community only, so many people told me that, it brings a lot of credibility.
Hmm.
You are an expert of that field.
Hmm.
And my doctorate happens to be in management.
Hmm.
So the two are related field.
Right.
So I started using it, and then I saw that when I'm in a room and I tell people I'm Dr. Saumya Tripathi, the
Right.
eyes light up.
Pop up.
So,
Yeah.
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 So, and some expressions like
Okay. Yeah.
so, yeah, I have learned it in my journey that it adds credibility.
Okay. Okay. Great. And we'll also come back to your PhD journey and talk about it a little bit more before we get into your career transitions, which is how important was the role of your mentor during your PhD?
Yes, I would say I would give the entire credit to him. And also, I would say someone from my family, my uncle, who was one who guided me in this. So he happens to be my real mentor.
Okay.
So he's also into academics.
Yeah.
So being in the family, he could see my struggle. So
Hmm.
I was changing cities. I was in a corporate job, which was very demanding.
Hmm.
And being in Delhi and my PhD in Kanpur, and then having children also. In between, I would lose touch, I would lose track.
Hmm.
And whenever I thought of giving up, or at certain point, I thought this is getting very difficult. Maybe I should change the topic.
Hmm.
Maybe I should reconsider this.
Hmm. Hmm.
So he would not let me do that. He would always give me a push that, it's almost done. It feels that way, but before you know, this will be over. So yeah, that's very important, the role of mentors and the family to keep you
Support
going.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can relate to you because I too had my kids during my PhD. And for a woman actually pursuing PhD, she goes through a lot of changes, right?
yeah.
More than a man does because of
Mm,
the age, the
mm,
family, the
mm,
expansion of family, many factors come in, right?
mm,
So I can
mm.
relate to your journey totally, Soumya. And let's just change gears and talk about the career transition you had, right? Post
Right,
PhD, where you went the self-employed way. I know
right.
you are training so many people right now. We're going to get into that. But before that, the in between phase, where you're
Mm-hmm.
starting by yourself. What were some
Mm,
doubts and fears that were kind of making you like, should I do this? Is this the right thing for me?
mm.
Can you share that with us?
So,
Yeah,
yeah, sure, Rima. So, the first thing when you start your independent journey is that will I be making as much as my monthly check?
absolutely. Yeah.
So that was the first question that came to my mind. And a lot of things happened together. My husband got transferred. I was with Apollo Hospitals in Lucknow.
Hmm.
And then my husband got transferred to Delhi. And I had this option of considering getting an internal transfer to Apollo Hospitals in Delhi. But also at the same time, COVID struck.
Right.
So certain things could not materialize, and I had to think afresh. I had a choice whether I should take up the job or because Delhi has a lot of options, certainly. But also, this was this pause gave me time to think that whether I want to go back to my independent journey. So I had done freelancing projects earlier, like I told you, I switched between corporate and academics. So this happened. I was into corporates. I was training, and after I had my children, it became difficult to manage both the careers.
Right.
So I took a sabbatical.
Hmm.
And when I wanted to go back to work after my sabbatical, then choices were very limited. They did not have work from home back then.
Hmm.
And so academics seemed like a choice which I could pursue, being a visiting faculty
A
at some
comfortable
colleges.
choice, right? If we can
Yes,
label it
yes,
that way.
yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yes, a
Yeah.
comfortable choice which gives you the professional exposure also and also lets you balance your work with
Family
family.
and yeah.
Yes, so that seemed like an obvious choice, and that was a stint. I had done that, and then gone back to corporate to Apollo Hospital, worked there. And then when COVID happened and this whole transfer thing happened, I had a choice to like rethink whether I would want to work in a flexible mode or I would want to be committed 9 to 5. And I thought I should go the freelancing way,
Okay.
or I should rather be an independent consultant.
Right.
And that's where I started my journey in
Yeah.
2020. I
Hmm.
spoke to a few mentors because I had a lot of questions.
Hmm. Hmm.
So one of my mentors told me that, Saumya, it will take next 5 years for the people in the industry to know you,
Right.
to
Yeah.
form a brand, you know.
Hmm.
And at that time, Rima, 5 years seemed really, really
Long.
long.
Yeah. I can
Yeah.
relate to that. Yes.
It felt like, for 5 years you are in exile or nobody knows you.
Yeah.
But then, and I told myself, oh no, I'm going to do it in 2 years.
Yeah.
But then, things take time. So yes, I would say that my mentor was right when he
Hmm.
said that it will take you 5 years.
Hmm.
But that journey is not from zero to, it's not an overnight shift. It's not an
Right.
overnight change.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that journey
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
learning, building. There's so many new skills that you learn as an independent consultant.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, it didn't seem very exciting in the beginning,
Hmm.
but when I look back,
That's like
I've
the
loved every
smartest thing
part.
you did, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've loved every part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And what is one thing in this 5 years journey that you stick by even now? Like,
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
I was asking, what is one thing, just one
Mm.
thing, if you had to filter it down to, what is one thing that you think this is something I'm going to follow in my journey moving into the future too? One learning
One learning that
in
I
the
have.
last 5 years. Yeah.
So in the last 5 years, what I've learned is then love your work.
Hmm.
And that is what keeps me going. Bring excellence in everyday tasks.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I think that's a very wonderful part of the kind of profession we are in.
Hmm.
Our performance assessment happens not yearly, not quarterly, but
Instantly.
every day, in
Yeah.
every day and instantly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we have to be our best every day.
Right.
So that is what keeps me on toes, and also I think that pushes us to be our best version.
Hmm.
Uh, every training excites me, even if it
Hmm.
is for the HODs, CEOs, or even for the frontliners.
Hmm.
There's always I treat it as a new day, a new assignment, and what new thing I can bring
Hmm.
to my audience in that session. So
Hmm.
I think that habit has always given me a thing to constantly evolve myself. When
Hmm.
I look back, I'm a very different person today from what I was 5 years back.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I credit it so much to my profession.
Hmm. Okay, you mentioned one thing, love your
Mm,
work, right? So
mm,
there's so much noise around how does loving your work look like?
mm,
For
mm,
me, loving your work is like being in the flow. You're not aware that the time is going away. And
mm,
sometimes it can also look like you're working over weekends and you're
mm.
working late into the night. What does
Right.
loving your work look like for you?
Um, so for me, loving my work means that it always keeps me very curious. I think I'm sure every work has this, but I can only speak for my work.
Right.
Um, I feel work gives you so many possibilities.
Yeah.
The more you do it, the more you realize how little I know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and there's so much more to explore.
Yeah.
And that's the joy it brings.
Mm, mm,
That there's okay, next time I'm going to try this.
mm,
Okay,
mm,
in this session, let me do it this way. Oh,
mm,
this worked. This did not work.
mm,
So even failures are a lesson.
mm,
So I think the way it constantly helps you learn new things
mm,
and
mm,
the kind of results. Curiosity, I think, is one factor that
mm.
for me is loving my work.
Yeah, I think if you don't have that curiosity, you will
Mm,
not be asking questions in a way that will help you grow and help you become better. So I
right.
can resonate with that. And also the fact that our work helps
Mm,
us get in touch with so many different spectrum of people. Like sometimes
right.
you're training the front line, sometimes you're
Mm,
training the CEOs,
mhm,
and that widens your perspective too, right, Saumya?
right.
So is there
Right.
any instance that you can remember of any training session where you gave the same problem to the front line, say, and you gave the same problem to CEO, and how
Mm,
their reactions were so different because their mind is a little different?
mhm.
Do you remember any such instance?
So I would say when such a thing happens, I think a lot of time with the frontliners I have seen. Um, I've also seen a sense of, first of all, there's less of a filter when it comes to the frontliners.
Mm-hmm.
So when they speak, they would not be very politically correct.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get to know that, yeah, this is what is happening at the ground level. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it just gives you a very clear picture.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of time with leaders, they talk in a very politically correct way. They
Mm-hmm.
would talk about, sometimes they would talk about the most ideal way that things should happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the difference that I've seen, that the way the two of them bring across the reality.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have, in fact, uh, uh, I once had a chance to train some of the security guards early in my career,
Mm-hmm.
and my respect for them has like tremendously increased.
Mm-hmm.
So many of them are so passionate about the job, maybe because that's the only thing they have to hold on to.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So they would work in a 12-hour shift. Most of the times they would be standing. And they have a lot of pride in their work. Like, I guard this institution, I guard this building.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been one learning for me, that you know the pride for work, which a lot of time people also tell me that my managers, we need to instill the pride for work or the love for organization.
Mm-hmm.
But in this security stuff, I found that they have it already, even if they are not on the payrolls.
I mean, they're making it bigger than themselves, right? So
Yes, yes.
that's the way to stay excited about work, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
That's a beautiful story you shared. And also, Soumya, let's come back to your research associate work for training
Hmm.
rocket scientists, right?
Yes, yes.
And now you're also training, as I said, the spectrum is huge. You're also
Right.
training tech professionals. You're also training IAS professionals. You're also training employees like in Microsoft, right?
Hmm.
So it all boils down to soft skill, right? And soft
Hmm.
skill is a very generalized bucket, right? But
Yes, yes.
then if there's one thing or two or three things that you need to pick up from the soft skills part that you
Hmm.
see common across these tech professionals
Hmm.
specifically, what is that in your experience that you
What
train
is
them?
it? What
Yeah.
is it that we train them on?
Yes. Like one thing in your experience that you see is lacking.
Hmm. So I think with tech professional, the logic part is very good.
Yeah,
So
right.
if I have to train them on design thinking or innovation, they come up with brilliant ideas.
Hmm.
But when it comes to things like emotional intelligence
Yeah,
or interpersonal skills,
yeah, yeah,
that's very challenging for them.
right.
So because they feel that most of the time they thought that it is not important,
Hmm.
and that's what I tell most of the people that your technical skills get you the job,
Hmm.
your soft skills get you the promotion.
Hmm.
So, till the time you're an executive, you're an individual contributor.
Hmm.
That's where your technical skills matter.
Hmm.
But thereafter, once you start rising in the ladder, it is
Hmm.
always the people skill,
Hmm.
because the role of a manager is to get job done through others. Role of a leader is to create more leaders.
Right.
So all the time you're working with people.
Hmm.
So these are non-negotiable.
Hmm. Right. And somehow, when we are pursuing our PhDs,
Mm.
specifically the STEM professionals,
Mhm.
I'm keeping the management side a little aside because you already
Mhm.
get to deal with a lot of psychology and organizational management. So somehow you
Mhm.
are aware of it. But when
Right.
it comes to the STEM professionals,
Mhm.
we see that getting to the depth of what caused that is the electron, proton, the energy, and all of that excites us a
Mhm.
lot more than the interpersonal skills.
Yeah.
And when you train them, I'm sure
Mhm.
some people get it quick, right?
Mhm.
But some
Mhm.
people don't,
Right.
right? What do you think is the difference between these two set of people? In my experience, many times it's also the environment that they have grown up in.
Mhm.
And is there anything else in your experience that you think is contributing to them not getting it really, fast?
So yeah, what helps some of the professionals, they have a natural instinct to have people skills,
Right.
whereas others who do not have probably did not get that kind of an environment, or it did not matter to them. Like, if I remember in our times,
Hmm.
there was so much of focus on science and maths,
Hmm.
children who are good in studies or academically. In fact, the science section was got more respect than commerce and arts section.
Right.
So a lot of time people feel that if I know this, if I'm doing well, if I'm scoring marks, that's all that matters.
Hmm. Hmm.
Even when they come to work, I'm delivering work.
Hmm.
So that is all that matters.
Hmm.
Now, when the same people they rise in a managerial position, they feel that, I know my job. I have done it very well for all these years.
Hmm.
When I tell this to my team, they just have to execute it.
Hmm.
But that's where the human part uh, comes in question. Okay, they're
Hmm.
not machines that you enter a command and they will deliver results. They're
Hmm.
humans. They will also have resistance. They will have their own way of thinking,
Hmm. Hmm.
which can come in contradiction.
Hmm.
Or, we have different personality types.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
the two personalities might clash.
Hmm.
So that's one factor. Also, the kind of bosses people have had.
Hmm.
So I was training one of the leading auto manufacturers, and this was on people
Hmm.
management.
Hmm.
So when I trained them on all these skills and facilitated the session and all, towards the end, not towards the end, but during one of the topics when we were talking about feedback and all of that, one of the participants said, "But ma'am, none of our bosses did this. Why should we care?"
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So that's the thing that that is also where the resistance comes in.
Yeah.
That I was never given this much of consideration.
Hmm. Hmm.
So when people have a difficult boss, there are two things people can learn: either
Hmm.
this is how it should be done,
Right.
or this is not the way you do it.
Right. Yeah.
So, so these are some factors I've seen that organizational culture.
Hmm.
Also, how much did if they are in the middle management or senior management, what kind of intervention or what kind of learning opportunities has the organization provided to them
Hmm. Hmm.
to bring in the transformation?
Hmm.
And also, what has been the individual experience?
Hmm.
Also, like you said, management people have had the exposure and all. I've also heard from people who have bosses from Premier Management Institute,
Hmm.
uh, but their people skills are challenging.
Right. Yeah.
So, because they come also, sometimes some people come with the arrogance also
Yeah.
that I am from the best institute, I know how it works.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So, a lot of time, people themselves are keeping them away from being good at soft skills.
Yeah, and that makes me curious. Okay, this maybe you can classify it as a naughty question. Why? Because when we go for training, we have such
Mm.
people also that come with that attitude. Let's
Right.
see what's in there. I know it all, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we gradually break it. I know
Right.
you have broken it gradually. Can you
Hmm.
just share one example, like how you gradually break it without intimidating them or
Hmm.
challenging their knowledge, but it comes
Hmm.
out from them itself. Oh yeah, like they gradually soften. You get my
Hmm.
point, right, Samya?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Okay, is there any example you remember?
So that's the reason we start the session by asking them the challenges that they are facing in their role. So
Yeah.
if it's a leadership training, or
Hmm.
if it's an emotional intelligence session,
Hmm. Hmm.
or if it is people's management, we ask them, what challenges are you facing in this area?
Hmm. Hmm.
So once they come up with challenges, we know that there are problem areas.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even if so contracting is very important. So
Right.
they have, in the beginning only, we have established that,
Yeah.
this is the thing.
Yeah.
However, there will be some people who would be, questioning questioning the entire program itself, that I
Hmm.
don't need it. Why am I here? Or I
Hmm.
know it all.
Hmm.
Then you let them be the knowledge sharers. All
Yeah.
right, you know
Right.
it. Let's hear from you. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we let the classroom decide that
Yeah.
whatever their opinion is it
Yeah.
right or is it wrong?
Yeah.
And also, in one of the recent experiences, I saw that the most experienced person in the room had needed that training most, but also had the maximum resistance.
Hmm. Hmm. That's
So,
the ego part. Can
yes,
we comfortably share that? Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So, this was about customer centricity.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, this participant comes in late,
Hmm.
and everyone is like, Sir is here, Sir is here, Sir is here.
Yeah.
And he also comes with that attitude, that
He's the
I
boss.
know, yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
boss. I know more than everyone else.
Yeah.
And when we did certain role plays, his behavior was the most challenging one when it came to customer centricity.
Hmm.
And then everyone in the room could see it,
Hmm.
right? Even they started questioning, why would you talk to a customer like that? Or why should this be the approach to the customer?
Hmm.
And then in that case, I don't have to say much.
Right, right. Because I believe that's the point. They are in conflict with what they're doing, and it's hard for them to accept that at the same
Hmm.
time and don't
Yeah.
know how to, accept it while being having that grace, right? So
Right,
that's where the
right.
emotional intelligence comes in, right, Samya?
Also,
Yeah.
also, yes, we'd also talk about intellectual humility.
Hmm.
That is also very important as you
Before
seek
you
more.
go into intellectual humility, I'm glad you touched on that because at PhDs, you might
Hmm.
also come
Yes.
across PhDs who
Hmm.
have that intellectual ego,
Hmm.
right? Yeah. So now you can talk about that intellectual humility.
So yes, this is one thing we train in leadership also, that come with an open mindset. Have your cup empty,
Hmm.
because if your cup is full, then there's little that you can pour it in.
Hmm.
Uh, so yes, a lot of time people who have PhDs or who have had a good or higher education, or when we say
Years
even
of
people
experience.
years of experience, and or maybe even in a young age they have
Some
um,
major accomplishments.
major accomplishment, quick promotions, they
Yeah,
also come with that thing.
right.
So, and that becomes a big hurdle when it comes to their further growth.
Hmm.
Because once you lose connect, or once you have that arrogance that I know it all, I don't need to learn it, you lose connect with your own people.
Hmm.
Your blind area starts to become wider.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's where this is important. The higher you rise, the more grounded you should become.
Okay, that's an awesome thing to be. The higher you rise, the more grounded you should be. Because if I go back and reflect on the kind of leaders I love, they have exactly followed that process of being grounded. And on that note, I want to shift gears to AI, Soumya.
Mhm.
Are you
Mhm.
using AI in your training programs in any ways, one or two ways that if you think you're using, how is it changing things for you? Because AI is the buzzword everywhere, right? But how
Right.
is it changing things for you or your sessions?
So I'm gradually catching up on Rima. Being a millennial, it doesn't come very easy to me. I'm uh,
Yeah.
trying to catch on the trend. So initially, when I started using AI, I found it of little help.
Hmm.
Okay, because I did not know how to use it right.
Hmm.
So I thought, personal assistant. I asked it to do something, it does it for me. But later on, I realized when I learned how AI is used, it's always human and then AI and then human intervention.
Right.
So once I understood this, I started using it in my trainings. Yes, it has significantly improved the quality of our trainings. It has improved our productivity. The number of hours we spent on preparing the session plans,
PPTs. Yeah. And session
PPTs,
plans. Yeah.
case studies. I
Right.
remember it took us so long to look for the appropriate case
Case
study
study. Right.
or
Yeah.
the scenario building. And so many of the case studies would be like paid. We had to pay for them to use
Right.
it. Not
Yeah.
It was not as accessible.
Hmm.
Uh, Preparing MCQs and
Hmm.
all quizzes, making it interactive.
Hmm.
So yes, with the use of AI, I think that has really helped me. It has helped me reduce time. It has helped me uh, get a broader perspective. Okay,
Hmm.
it has helped me in customization of the programs as
Hmm.
well.
Hmm. Hmm.
The kind of organization, the kind of industry, the level at which employees are, so everything can be customized very quickly.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
in terms of productivity, in terms of quality, AI has been very helpful, but always uh,
The
human,
human
AI,
layer.
and then
Yeah.
there are a lot of things I would reject
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
AI has to offer me.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah.
and
I
there are
don't
so many
think,
things.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think being a millennial, I'm a millennial too, you are missing out on the speed because it's hard to catch up. It's changing every minute if you
Yeah.
think about AI, right? So,
Right.
being the
Right.
organic beings we are, we cannot catch up to the inorganic beings, but bring our best judgment to the plate, which AI cannot do, right, Soumya?
Right. Right. I
Yeah.
totally second that. Yes.
Okay, on that note, I would flip the whole topic to a fun question, which is um, when people see you in the room, because you're so tall, 6 feet, what are their reactions
Five
like?
nine.
Yeah, 5'9", almost six, right? So what
Yeah.
are their
Almost six.
reactions like?
The
What
the
compliments
reaction.
like after your trainings are over and everything? Has anybody told you anything about your height?
So, the first reaction that I get is they check my footwear.
Yeah, I
How
can.
many inches of heel am I
Yeah,
wearing?
right. Yeah.
And if they don't find that, they're really disappointed or even more surprised. So that's one thing. Secondly, when I take pictures at the end of the training with my session, a lot of time I'm the tallest one.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I tell people that, if you stand behind me, you will not get captured in the photo.
Yeah, yeah.
So yes, people do come up with the things. What is your height like?
Hmm.
They're very curious about it.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. Okay. And I know we had an amazing conversation, but I want to go back to where we started, Soumya.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
If your kids were to go into Air Force now, what would be your suggestion to them? What do you think? What would you suggest them?
So after my daughters grew up and they knew that, I got selected, I couldn't go. So they would say that, I would join Air Force or I would join armed forces.
Yeah.
I told them I would love that, but I would want you to do it if you want to do it.
Hmm.
Do not do it to like, as an unfulfilled dream of mine.
Hmm.
So your
Hmm.
dreams are yours.
Hmm.
If it is your dream, go for it. But if you have bigger dreams, chase them.
Hmm. I think that's the self-aware trainer speaking in you. I know as trainers, we are very high on self-awareness, and
Yes.
that's so lovely to hear that you're not imposing your dreams on them, but it should come from within them, and not that I'm doing it like my mom will be proud of me if I'm the Air Force officer. No, it's like I love doing it, and that's why that's such an amazing place to start. And that's for the kids, for your kids. And that's such an amazing way to end this podcast because I always leave my community members with this question: what is exciting you? What is making you love something, irrespective of whether people value it or not? And of course, it has to pay you money, right, Soumya? So, Soumya, because this podcast is about PhDs, right? And
Mhm.
you also operate with a lot of PhDs. What is your one thought that you want to leave the PhDs with who might be passing out in 2026 or who are joining in 2026?
So my thought would be that be very grateful for the opportunity you've had. Very, very few people get to have this level of education. Um you be always thankful for that, but never let that be a limiting factor in your life. Okay? Always take it as a catalyst.
Hmm.
Always take it as a fuel of where all it can take you.
Hmm.
And another thing, the first thing that I said, always be thankful. Think from the perspective of how you can give it back. You've
Hmm.
been really fortunate that you have this degree today.
Hmm.
Uh, so much of knowledge, education, information you have earned. What is the best way to give it back and leave this world a better place?
Hmm. And what stays with me is I want to add to that that please follow your curiosity, as said by Soumya, which is her definition of love your work. So, a lovely conversation, Soumya. And I'm so honored that I got to learn about you. And maybe sometime in the next life, you get to choose the flying officer role. Thank you, Soumya, for
Absolutely.
being on
Thank you.
Madam PhD podcast.
Thank you so much, Shima. Thank you.